Hello everybody and welcome back to Jester Ranks Off. That's right, I'm a serial ranker. This is, we're back. We're back on Tier Maker. Tier Maker is providing us far too much content, but here we are. We are doing possibly the most controversial, the most dangerous, the most potentially career-ending Tier Maker list I've ever done, and that is the starter Pokemon all the way from Generation 1 to Generation 8. We are starting with the base forms. We're not worrying about the final forms, but they will factor into where they are ranked. So, first of all, quick props to the maker of this list at the 12th Gripper. Try my best to credit everybody where they're due. For some reason, we got A, B, C, D, F. Not quite sure why it's an F. It was always an E. So, who do we have? If you don't know Pokemon, weird that you're watching this video, but secondly, let me just guide you through. We've got Cyndaquil, we've got Totodile, we've got Trico, we've got Torchic, Mudkip, Turtwig, Chimchar, ooh, nearly messed him up, Piplup, Snivy, Tepig, Harshawood. Some of them are, you know the sounds. Chespin, Fennekin, and Froakie. Yes. Rowlet, Litten, Poplio, Grookey, Scorbunny, Sobble, Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle, and Cyndaquil. They are in an order in which I'm okay with. They've gone by generation order, which is fine. I do like to randomize them a little bit, but listen, I think we'll be okay. You know what's missing? An S rank. I'm going to quickly fix this, BRB. Okay, list is fixed. S, A, B, C, D. If we're going to judge things, we'll keep saying ranks as best as possible. Anyway, let's get started, shall we? First of all, we have Cyndaquil. Cyndaquil is a Generation 2 Pokemon. He's a Fire Starter, Twisted Fire Starter, and that's not the last time you'll hear this joke today. He was the one I always went with Generation 2. He was the best one to use earlier on. He evolves into Typhlosion. Typhlosion is a kick-ass thing. If you haven't seen Typhlosion, he looks very huggable. I wouldn't wrap your arms all the way around. There is fire on his back. That will burn. But Cyndaquil, we're going to start off strong. Cyndaquil's an A-tier Pokemon. Totodile is a Crocodile Pokemon. Now, Crocodile Pokemon are pretty cool. Again, I'm going to try to judge these, for the same reasons. If we're talking about the final form of Totodile, Feraligatr is also a very cool Pokemon. Gen 2... actually had fantastic starters. I don't think there's a bad starter amongst them, to be honest. So for that reason, Totodile also making it up to the A tier. I know, it's shocking. What am I doing? So let's go to Trico, the first of our grass types. If you can't tell from this top, I love grass starters. Trico is not my first choice for generation whatever they're in, 3. I'm a bit unfamiliar with between Gen 2 and Gen 5. But yeah, I don't really like Trico that much. I'm not a big fan of just lizard Pokemon. I'm starting to realize pretty quickly in my life. Even though I like grass starters, there's only 3 that I actually like that I would choose over any of the others. But then I compare it to the rest of them. Torchic evolves into a stupid chicken. A Mudkip, Mudkip's a meme, isn't it? So Trico for that reason is going to stay, no, going to go to C category. Speaking of Pokemon that are going down to C category, Torchic is a little cutie. Let's not bat around the bush. Beat around the bush. Twisted Fire Starter, but the evolve form isn't that great, and this is the best this Pokemon ever is, as far as looks are concerned. So, yeah, sorry Torchic, you're also a C tier. Now, let's be honest, the internet would lynch me if Mudkip doesn't make it into the upper echelons of this tier maker list. But aside from the memes, what is Mudkip really? Mudkip is a weird little creature. He's got some kind of unfortunate deformities going on with the cheeks, a penis for a head. But the memes, you like Mudkips? You know what? Because everyone goes off on the memes and stuff like that, and that's realistically the only reason anyone knows Mudkip. D tier. That's right. I don't give a fuck. I'm controversial. I'm edgy. I'm here to push the boundaries of comedy. And I'm putting Mudkip in D. That's right. Worse than Trico and Torchic. How do you feel about that? Don't kill me, though. Anyway, next up on Pokemon. Turtwig. Turtwig is a dumb-looking little Pokemon. Not a big fan. Again, another grass starter that I don't think's that great. They annoy me. Great on Pokemon Go to train Great Throws on if you've got a X in a row throw field research. But other than that, again, this is the best this Pokemon ever looks. Turtwig's also a D tier Pokemon. I'm sorry, it is. You can argue with me all you like, but Chimchar, up to B, may stay B. Chimchar, again, was another Pokemon I was very unfamiliar with until I started playing Pokemon Go, same as Piplup, same as Turtwig. I actually quite like Chimchar. Chimchar has a cool evolution line as well. I feel like it ends pretty strongly. Monkey Pokemon as well, big favourite of mine. Not a big fan of Fire Starters, Twisted Fire Starters, but you know what? It's a good evolution line. It's a cute little monkey. It bobs his little head along while we play Pokemon Go. We're going to give him an A tier. Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. And Piplup, again, suffers from the same issue as so many of these Pokemon already on this list. Piplup is the best that this Pokemon looks. Like, after that, Prinplup is, like, stupid looking. And then Empoleon, you know, you respect Empoleon, I think his name is, because he's got the crown. You know, we're all a big fan of hats over here at Jester Entertainment. Yeah, I think I'm comfortable with leaving Piplup in B. I think that's okay. I don't think that's too controversial. Is it? It's not. Snivy. Now, a lot of people don't like Snivy because it just gets longer and loses its legs as it evolves. I quite like Snivy. He's a cheeky little bastard. Look at him. He looks like he's just told you that he pissed in your cereal. And he's like, and what are you going to do about it? You're not going to do shit about it. He's a cheeky little bugger. I love him. I think he's great. I think Snivy is an I tier. Tepig. Tepig is another Gen 5. Cute little pig Pokemon. Again, Tepig is the best that this evolution line looks. Emboar is like a big, huge buff. It's like, Emboar is what Brock Lesnar would be if he was a Pokemon. We don't like Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar sucks. So Tepig is also a D tier Pokemon. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if this is controversial. I told you. I'm not holding any punches. Some of these Pokemon are terrible. Now let's, you know, be fair. Some of these aren't terrible. Some of them are just not as good as others. Unfortunately, this is where... Are we noticing a pattern here? Am I racist towards four-legged Pokemon? Because all the D tier Pokemon are four-legged Pokemon right now. I might be a racist. What a way to find out. Oshawott, I don't really like that much. It evolves to have 4 legs. D tier! I don't know, I've never been that big a fan of water starters, I'm kind of realizing also. Looks like a weird pantomime. Has a shell that it can take off its stomach and throw and slash at people, which is kind of cool, actually. Like, if I could just remove a part of my body and start hitting people with it, that'd be kind of incredible. And then put it back as well. You know, you can remove your arm and hit people with it, but it's going to be difficult to get that back in place unless you do a perfect... Anyway, Oshawott isn't that great. I think Oshawott is a C tier. Not as bad as, you know, the 4 legs down here, but, you know, C's okay. Change D tier to 4 leg. Chespin. Now, I quite like Chespin. Chespin's a little cutie. Problem is, once again, Chespin is the best the line looks. I forget what the evolved form is, but it's like a big lump of a stupid dumbass. The final form is like an chestnut or something like that. It's like an armored version of Chespin, which is kind of cool looking, but still a bit dumb. But because I really like the first form, and again, out of the 3 of that generation, I always chose Chespin. Chespin's a B tier. I'm comfortable keeping Chespin in the B tier. He's saved. He should be C. By virtue of being a grass type, he's being saved. Fennekin. It's a 4 leg. Straight down to D. Fennekin is actually kind of cool. Not against Fox Pokemon. I'm not against Fire Pokemon either, realistically. As you can tell, my A tier is 2 Fire versus 1 Water and Grass right now. Evolves into a Witch Pokemon. As we discussed about Murkrow back in the Bird Pokemon tier list, we're a big fan of Pokemon that have hats and look cool and do mystical stuff. I wouldn't usually choose Fennekin. I have an issue of Pokemon that look a bit gendered, if that makes sense. If it looks blatantly like a girl, or blatantly like a dude, I'm like, I kind of like Pokemon that it could be either way, I guess. Or maybe I'm sexist and racist. I'm not sure. I could be both. But no, I quite like the final form, actually, of Fennekin. I quite like Fennekin itself, so I'm quite happy to keep Fennekin in the B tier. And if the Pokemon's not called Fennekin, because I haven't looked, I'm going to look really dumb with all the times I've said Fennekin. Okie dokie, we have Froakie. Didn't mean to rhyme that, but it rhymed, and that's worth a like on this video. Froakie is a bit... You know, the first two forms, not great. The final form, Greninja, kinda cool. Can you really deny a ninja, is the question. And to that, ladies and gentlemen, I say no. Froakie is not great to start off with, but ends up kind of awesome. And I think for that reason, we slip the bugger. Yeah, but like, I'd always choose Chespin over Froakie. Oh, this is the entire Gen 5, 6? Gen 6 just going to have to stay in B tier. Well, it's very sad if that's the case, but I think that might be the case. Yeah, I'm going to have to, I'm going to have to say that, unfortunately. Yeah, that's sad, but here we are. Rowlet. Now, I know, again, what you're thinking. Oh, grass type, Jester. Rowlet evolves. Of all the Pokemon here, Rowlet has the absolutely coolest final form. Not only that, his starter form is cute as fuck. If it's a dude Pokemon, a little leaf thing, that's a bow tie. If it's a girl, it's a little bra. Keep the little nips covered. You know, you got to censor it because the government will come down heavy on you. So, for that reason, especially Rowlet's final form, Decidueye, Rowlet is an S tier starter. What? What? You coming after me? Come after me. It is. You can't disprove this at all. Litten. Again, not a Pokemon I'd usually choose because Rowlet is king. But this might be a controversial thing. I like cats. I like wrestling. I like big, strong cats that wrestle. Do I like furries that wrestle? Absolutely not. But do I like Pokemon that have championship belts on them, despite the fact never actually competing in a championship, that can wrestle, and have a Pokemon card that has the move Dark Lariat? It fucking has a clothesline as a move. If it wasn't for Rowlet being an owl and fucking Robin Hood, Litten would be my #1 choice every single time. So, for that reason, Litten is actually an S tier Pokemon. Again, controversial. Now, let's get to this. Poplio. Poplio is kind of terrible. I'm not against the seal. I'm not. But I'm against the clown nose. I don't like clowns. Clowns suck. They're awful. They're terrible people. And if you know anyone who's a clown, they're going to murder you at some point. I'm sorry. They are. You can't disprove this. And even if you could, well, it's too late. You've been murdered. So, Poplio, again, evolved form as well, isn't that great. It's very girly looking, actually. Again, I am apparently sexist in this video, as well as racist against four-legged creatures. Are those Flippers' legs? Are the tails... Yeah, I'm sorry, Poplio's a D tier Pokemon. The most disappointing of Gen 6. 7? God, I don't know what generation these Pokemon are from anymore. Grookey. Grookey gang, Grookey gang, Grookey gang. Grookey is an absolute... Look at him. How can you say no to him? He's got a little stick. He goes smack. He's a great guy. I'm not the biggest fan of his middle form. To be fair, none of these Pokemon have good middle forms. The middle form is the worst form. It's like the Metapod syndrome. It's like you've got to make this. You got to make the first form cute. The second form kind of, and then the third form is like, whoa! How did it get to that? Grookey, yeah. I mean, if we were just focusing literally on the starter Pokemon itself and not measuring by other means, Grookey is an S tier Pokemon. Unfortunately, because I'm not that big a fan of Rillaboom. Rillaboom's cool. He's got a drum kit for a start, which is kind of cool. You know, I'm kind of talking myself into disagreeing with myself, if that makes sense. I'm not a big fan of Rillaboom. Rillaboom isn't my favourite final form of Generation 8. That goes to a different Pokemon that we'll talk about in a minute. But I love monkey Pokemon. I love grass types. I love the drums. And Rillaboom is booming those drums all day long. I just don't want to be racist to put all the good grass types in S. Grookey's an S-type Pokemon. I'm sorry. It is. It's not my fault water Pokemon are terrible. What are you going to do? Nothing. That's right. You aren't going to do anything. You can dislike this video and move on. That's all you can do. Anyway, Scorbunny. Scorbunny, I didn't like at start because it was just like a dumb rabbit that was a twisted fire starter with a bandage on its head. And why has it got a bandage on its head? What happened? Was it dropped on its head at birth? Has it had issues its entire life? Now I feel bad for it. Now I feel like I should start a charity, a GoFundMe for Scorbunny. Fortunately for Scorbunny, okay, so this is where I'm already breaking one of my rules. The second form of Scorbunny is kind of fucking cool. It's basically a teenager with its like hood up like this and just like this. It's like, what's up? Fuck you want. Scorbunny's got a very cool line. Then the final form is a soccer player or a football player. I said soccer first. What is wrong with me? Anyway, Scorbunny's a very, very cool Pokemon. I really like Scorbunny. So for that reason, Scorbunny is making it up to A tier. Absolutely. All day, every day. And now we're on the Sobble syndrome. Sobble is... I didn't like Sobble to begin with. But then I realised Sobble sits like this. And I also sit like this, inviting anybody to throw a small ball into there to score a point. Sobble has an interesting middle form. It's very emo looking, very, oh, the world's all against me. But his final form is a fucking government secret agent. Now, it doesn't look great. It looks like someone spiced up some noodles, made them blue, and made them look cool. I hope it's not a spoiler to say, but it's getting a Gigantamax form, and it's basically the same Pokemon on a fucking sniper tower. Which is cool, but do we measure by that metric right now? That seems unfair. Because I don't like the first form so much, and to be fair, I like the concept of the final form, but I don't like the execution of the final form. I'm going to keep Sobble in B category. I feel like that's a fair assessment right now. Okay, again, we're going to discuss something I've already mentioned. Bulbasaur. Again, if you know me, Bulbasaur on its own, S-type Pokemon. Absolutely. Bulbasaur is still my favourite starter. That might be nostalgia, that might be Gen 1-er, that might be the fact that it was my first Pokemon that I was, like, hell yeah into. But again, Bulbasaur is where it ends on how good the Pokemon looks. Ivysaur looks kind of crap. Venusaur just looks stupid. Venusaur looks like a toad that got some kind of, like, tumor that grew on the back. And just... I don't like it at all. I don't like Venusaur. It kind of kills the entirety of Bulbasaur for me. Which kind of leaves it in an interesting position, because I can say so many nice things about Snivy, and I'm not against its final forms. Chespin, I said nice things about, but I am against its final forms. Bulbasaur is my favourite. I can't put it in S rank. I'm only moving it up to A rank on the fact that it is my favourite Pokemon. And realistically, I feel like it actually belongs in B. Based on like everything else we've said on every other Pokemon. It's floating that line. Unfortunately for Bulbasaur though, I can't go any higher than A. Yeah, that seems fair. I'm sorry, Bulbasaur. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. Don't look at me, Bulbasaur. Don't look at me. I'm sorry. Okay, we're on to Charmander. Charmander, you know, I'm not against Charmander. Charmander's got a cool design. Charmeleon sucks, as we all know. Middle forms aren't that great. This is similar to Mudkip now, where Charizard, its final form, is very cool. Don't get me wrong. But Charizard is known for the memes, as is Mudkip. Charizard is massively overplayed at this stage. I don't think there's been a single Pokemon game that's had like some kind of gimmick that Charizard has always been involved in. Gen 8 being the most famous, where apparently we were allowed Charmander, but we're not allowed Bulbasaur or Squirtle. Where's my Bulbasaur in Generation 8, Game Freak? Anyway, so yeah, Charmander is great. Charmeleon sucks. Charizard overplayed. Charmander is going into the C category. Yeah, that's right. C for Charmander. Okay, we're on to Squirtle now. Squirtle's like the least offensive Pokemon I've ever come across. Squirtle's got a very cool name. Combination of squirrel and turtle. The only squirrel aspect is the tail. which is interesting. Evolves into War Turtle, which is basically this but darker blue, and it's got some spikes on its head. Blastoise has 2 guns mounted to its fucking back. 2 guns! It's like, pfft. Pokemon with built-in weaponry, like guns, on their own should be S tier. Because I don't really like Squirtle all that much, it's not my favourite Pokemon. It's got a bit of a round head. Any Pokemon that can just hide in a shell is a coward. But Blastoise is mega cool. Like, super fucking cool. Squirtle's an A category. That's right. Bulbasaur and Squirtle are A. Charmander's a C. And finally, we're on to Chikorita. Chikorita was the actually hard choice in Generation 2. If you don't know how start a Pokemon work, a bit late to explain it, but you're basically choosing your difficulty level on what you're going to be encountering with your gym. So Bulbasaur was always a good choice because you're going to go against rock and water first. And by, you know, countermeasures, Charmander was the worst because it was weak against rock and water. So, yeah, Charmander was hard mode. Bulbasaur was easy mode, which is why I went with it. Chikorita was actually the hard mode in Generation 2 because you went up against flying and bug type gyms first, both of which are strong against grass types. Chikorita itself, very cute, very adorable. Bayleaf is okay. Meganium is... I'm not the biggest fan. And for that reason, I think Chikorita is actually perfectly fine in the B list. I would compare Chikorita and Chespin. Very cute starter forms. Middle forms are and then the final forms are kind of like, I guess. Yeah, I am happy with that list. I'm not going to put them in order. But, hey, if you want to argue with me, you're more than welcome to. S rank is Rowlet, Litten, and Grookey. A tier is Cyndaquil, Totodile, Chimchar, Snivy, Scorbunny, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle. B tier is, of course, Piplup, Chespin, Fennekin, Froakie, Sobble, and Chikorita. C tier is Trico, Torchic, Oshawott, and Charmander. And, hang on, let's fix this. And 4 leg starters are Mudkip, Turtwig, Tepig, and Popplio. I'm sorry, it's just how it is. Luckily, not all the 4-legged Pokemon went into there. I mean, Fennekin could have, Chikorita could have, but no, I'm happy with that one. It's fine. Ladies and gentlemen, if you disagree with me, you're welcome to go to Tier Maker and find this yourself. It is the starter Pokemon Gen 8 tier list made by @the12gripper. Thank you very much for making this. Thank you very much, Tier Maker, for providing us a tool to make these lists. And finally, thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it and want to see my live content, it is available on twitch.tv/jestertainment. To see more videos like this, youtube.com/jesterondemand, and see what I'm ranting about this week, twitter.com/jestertainment_. If you want to join our Discord, it is bit.ly/jestdiscord. And if you want any more links, they are in the description below. Boys and girls, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Again, any disagreements, please let me know in the comments. I'll fight you. I've got no problem with that. But for now, I'll see you in the next one. See ya.